Hello, my YouTube family. Back at you with another video. Okay, I left off where this was the third night. T-Ski was making arrangements. Well, he was making plans for me and him to chill, spend the night together for the first time. Okay, I was excited. I was looking forward to it. You know, the first two times it didn't work out. So this third night, here I am. Telling myself I'm gonna be up in his face, up close and personal, so he won't get nothing misconstrued. And I'm going to chill with my man, cause you know I got tired of sleeping in that abandoned apartment. I slept on the floor with a pillow and a blanket. Mind you, I had a home to go home to. Well, I had a house to go home and go to sleep, but I stopped sleeping there because my mother's boyfriend, I can't say he looked me in my face because he was blind, but he looked in my direction one day and told me, if I can see, I will kill you. I couldn't get those words out of my head. Or did he say, if I wasn't blind, I would kill you? And he said it with such hate. So, you know, back by that time, I was smoking weed every day. I was a weed head. I used to buy weed, a bag of weed every day. A tray bag. That was enough for a day back then. So, you know, hearing those words over and over, I didn't feel comfortable sleeping at the house. The house on Dean Street that we moved into, that was his family's house. So he is very familiar with that house. He knows where every squeak is at when you step. You know, he knows this house like, you know, like he know his own self. When I was at that house, I started sleeping at the foot of the bed instead of the head of the bed, because how he would learn where everything was at, you know, he would touch it, he would feel it. So he knows if he goes this way, this is the headboard, you know, this is the part of the bed that people put their head at, you know, the foot of the bed, you know, you don't sleep at the foot of the bed. You know, he knew where everything was at. He made sure he knew where everything was at. And if one thing was out of place in that house, he would know. So that lets me know that when we're not around, he's seeing where everything is at. So I felt so uncomfortable. I felt unsafe sleeping in the house. I got to the point I stopped sleeping at the house. I was comfortable with sleeping in abandoned apartments on the floor. I was more comfortable doing that than I was sleeping in, you know, my bedroom set probably was a year, maybe 2 years old. It was, you know, fairly new. Comfortable bed. But every little noise I would open my eyes. I couldn't get comfortable there anymore. So that's why I was so looking forward to, you know, spending this time with my man. And you know, hey, after that one night, maybe one night it turned into, you know, more nights. So I was playing him close. I was playing him close. So about 10 o'clock came, and I see JB and OZ walking around the corner again. No, it had to be about 11. It was about 11 o'clock. OZ and JB came walking around the corner again. So, you know, T-Ski went outside. I went outside. So he had went back in, or he was talking to something, and I was standing outside leaning on the rail. So JB said, why you ain't call me? I said, you didn't give me a chance to. You just gave me your number yesterday. Still, you should have called me and, you know, talking, saying whatever. So I'm being all smart mouth. Time was coming up for me and him to go off and, you know, do what boyfriend and girlfriends do. Cab pulled up. I'm like, okay, all right. Our cab, yeah. Okay, I'm getting excited, yeah. Next thing you know, he goes to get in the cab. I'm like, oh, yo, hold on. Hey. All right, I see them all. Y'all, I be here. I see them all. And then I happen to really look, and then I see the girl was in the cab. The same fucking girl. I promise you, I stood there like, it's supposed to be our night. Matter of fact, he said, oh, I gotta handle something. Be here tomorrow. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. I was dumbfounded. But because I seen the girl in the car, I was mad. I was fucking mad. Oh, fuck this shit. This motherfucker, this. I was mad. I was cussing. JB was like, yo, what's up? No, and I like, why is you mad? I mean, what's going on? Talk to me. Tell me. I said, because I'm supposed to be with him. We supposed to go and spend some time together. This, you know, we done planned this for 3 nights in a row. And all 3 nights, you know, shit just fell through. So he said, you smoke? You drink? I said, yeah, I only drink beer. So he's like, all right, come on. I got something to smoke, come on. I'm like, come on, where? He's like, yo, we can go to a park. You know, I know you really don't know me, but, you know, we can just sit in the park. So we went to Fulton Street Park. Right there, I think it's 3 blocks. The park is on Fulton. Then another one is Ashland Place. No. Well, it sits like a triangle. It sits on 3 blocks. Fulton Street, Hanson Place, and I forget the name of that other street. So we went to go sit in the park. It was nighttime. Sit in the park talking. Really talking. I'm like, damn, this brother, you know, got a head on his shoulders. He seemed cool. By this time, my mother, she started taking out, excuse me, PEN's petition for me, on me, against me. PEN's petition is parents in need of supervision. You take out PEN's petition when your child running away, doesn't listen to you, you can't find them, because you can't just let your child be out there and don't try to do nothing, you know, because if you do, you can get charged. Well, if your daughter was running away, why didn't you notify the authorities? And, you know, something happens to your child, you can be charged. So she had a PEN's petition took out on me, parent in need of supervision. So that means that if a police would have came up to me and asked me my name, and, you know, they checked, they would have seen that I was to be held, you know, until they notify the parent. I'll get a court date, go to court, and you know, ask the parent what does she want to do with the child. So we sitting, me and JB, sit in the park talking. Like, damn, this brother seemed like he cool. Okay, all right. But I had a man, you know what I'm saying? And he knew of my man, so, you know, he was off limits. So we sit in the park, kicking it. And let me just say this. Even though I didn't know that T-Ski was a pimp at that time, I didn't know it. I just knew he, you know, dressed like an older guy. He was about 27, 28. When I was like 13, I just, you know, thought he dressed like an older guy because I never seen him, you know, with women doing what pimps do. So even though I didn't know that he was a pimp, but if I had went home with him, you know, the next night, then the next night, he could have, yo, I'm a pimp, and I'm looking for, you know, a hoe to help make some money, and, you know, I want you to be my hoe and sell pussy for me. I'm gonna be perfectly honest with myself and you. I would have did it. I would have did it because of the attention that he showed me. because of the affection that he did give me. I didn't receive it. I wasn't getting it. I've never gotten a real good hug and was told I love you from nobody. Nobody. That's what I needed. I needed the confirmation of I love you. You're my child no matter what. Or, you know, my niece or something. I needed that in my life. I really didn't realize how much I needed it. But if he had came to me and told me that he was a pimp and this is what he wanted me to do, go sell pussy and bring him back some money, I would have done it just because he paid attention to me. He showed me affection. I would have looked at it as, well, this is just something I have to do in life so I can get that. I would have did it. I would have tried to be his number one hoe. To be honest, I wasn't dumb. I wasn't slow. If anything, I was advanced. But I would have done anything just to keep that attention and affection going. That's what I needed from a parent, you know, mostly a father. I needed someone to hug me and tell me that they loved me, not somebody to tell me if I can see I would kill you, or if I wasn't blind, you'll be dead. However it was said, that was the last thing I needed to hear. That really pushed me out the door. It did. Well, me and JB sat in the park till about 3 o'clock in the morning. He was like, oh man, it's late. I'm like, well, shit, sit there. We can look at the big clock from the park. Look how late it is. He said, where you live? I'll walk you home. He assumed I lived around there. I said, I live in Crown Heights. I didn't want to tell him that my grandmother lived right around the corner, you know, because, okay, I'll walk you there and... So he said, it's getting late. I'll walk you home. I said, walk me home. I live in Crown Heights. He said, well, what you gonna do? I think by this time they had put a buzzer on the door. So you'd have to press the bell. Somebody have to let you in. So I didn't want to go there, and how I used to get in the door, if you bump it a few times hard, it'll open up. So I didn't want him to walk me there and he see how I was getting in. You know, I didn't want him to put one and one together. If she's not ringing the bell to get in, well, where is she really going? So he said, yo, you can just come to my crib, you know, and chill till the morning. I said, I don't know you like that. He said, I would rather you come to my crib than stay, you know, than to try to walk home by yourself. That's too far of a walk. We ain't gonna just sleep in the, you ain't gonna sleep in the park. I'm not gonna leave you in the park. He said, come to my crib. I promise you, I will not put one hand on you. You can sleep in the room. I'll sleep in the living room. I promise you I won't touch you unless you want me to. I live right here in Fort Greene. It was 84 Carlton Avenue. All we had to do was just cross the park. Myrtle Avenue, then you walk one block just before Flushing Avenue. So I'm like, all right, okay, all right. Took a chance. You know, that was more than what I had going on anyway. So we walked, got to his apartment, well, his cousin's apartment. That was Mika's apartment. He was staying with his cousin Mika when he was in Fort Greene. He would stay with Mika, you know, give her a few dollars here and there, whatever. So, went to Mika's crib. Should I tell the truth about? I promise you I won't touch you unless you want me to. We were drinking and smoking. We was high. We was feeling good. Hey, I'm already spending the night. So, if, you know, even if we didn't do anything, I'm already spending the night. So, you know, shit. I'm already out of pocket for spending the night. I'm already out of pocket because I didn't know him. I just met him literally the day before. I was already out of pocket. So should I tell the truth about did we do something or not? Anyway, so got to the apartment. He made sure I was woke by 11 o'clock. 11 o'clock, just before 12 o'clock noon. He made sure I was woke. We were sitting in sat in those apartments are small. Kitchen, dining area, and living room area right there. So, make sure we was in the front, dining area, living room area, kitchen area. So he was standing at the window. Standing at the window. So, me and Mika talking, she asking me questions. Of course I'm lying and shit. Didn't tell nobody I was 13. Told everybody I was 16. And, I was telling them the issues that I was having at home. So, I don't really like to stay there. Telling them some lies, mixed in with some truths. So JB said, T, come here. So I came there. So came to the window. Lo and behold, I see T-Ski and a girl, that girl Blondie, walking from out her building. Them two walking together. I think the building Mika lived in, it only went up to 4 or 5 floors. And I believe she was on the 3rd floor. So I see them walking. And I'm like, I was hurt. I was fucking hurt. I'm like, oh shit. So all that shit he told me was a fucking lie. So JB said, if you want to be out here in the streets at this young age, you need to know how to be out here in the streets. For one, you never believe what a nigga tell you, because a nigga always trying to, get over on you. A nigga's always gonna feed you some bullshit just so the goal is just one thing, to get some ass. Okay, so they ain't never gonna tell you the truth. He said he lives with Blondie, that's his girl. That's his woman. She sells pussy for him. They live together. He goes to the spot and work, and she go out there and sell pussy. That's his bitch. She brings the money back to him, and it's a repeat. They do the same thing over and over. They get high. They need, as much money as they can get. They need as much money as they can get. She go out and sell pussy. When it's about time for him to get off work, she comes pick him up in a cab. Then, they come home in the cab, stop by store, get what they need, and go home. They do this every night. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm not gonna lie. It was like a punch to my gut. And I was really feeling T-Ski. Okay, all right. So he's like, if you fuck with this nigga, what he gonna do is make you sell pussy for him. He ain't gonna have you around and you not making him no kind of money. I'm sure that's not the kind of life you want. Okay, took a shower, got dressed. I think I went home, Dean Street, changed clothes, and I came back out. Because he asked, what you doing later? I'm like, I'm not sure. I don't know. So he told me to meet him somewhere in the Fort Greene area at a certain time. Went home. So I went home before my mother got there, because I didn't want to hear her mouth. I would have to sneak back out, change my clothes, and then I got me a change of clothes. I'm like, okay, all right, you telling me to meet back up with him. Okay, dude, feeling me. So I was hanging out with Mika. Then he was out on the block. Whatever he was doing, I'm not sure. But he was also talking to a girl. They wasn't going together, but he was talking to a girl. And this girl, she was a dizzy ass bitch, to be honest. She liked him, so he's like, man, I want this, buy me that. So the girl was buying this shit for him. She was buying him leather pants. she was working, giving him half her check, shit like that. So he was like, yo, when a girl come around, I don't want her to know, that, you really here for me. Just say you and Mika friends. I'm like, all right, okay. He was like, I need all the money I can get from her. I'm like, okay, all right. When he had money in his pocket, he was like, you got money in your pocket? I'm like, always put, here you go. Always put money in my pocket. Me and Mika, his cousin Mika, when we was hanging out, we was hanging out a little something, because me and JB wasn't that cool yet. He would always make sure he put something in my pocket. He always asked me, did I eat? He was just overly nice to me, real nice to me. I'm like, wow. When I first met him, I wasn't feeling him. I didn't like him like that. I was liking somebody else. But being out there hanging out with him, he was telling me so much shit, putting me up on what was going on in the streets. I have never had no one give me the game. And he said, if you're going to be out here, you need to know how to be out here. He was telling me all about stuff that my parents should have told me. He was telling me. He was telling me about how these men are, how they operate. Their goal is just one thing. They'll do anything. Beg, lie, kill for some pussy. And if you young and you got some good shit, these niggas go crazy. So you're more valuable than that. Stop giving yourself up like that. Stop selling yourself short. If a man is not going to cherish you and treat you like you're supposed to be treated, don't fuck with him. Don't fuck with him. That was the first man to tell me that, you got power. You have power between your legs. And I swear to God, I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. You have power between your legs. What's between your legs? Command, what's due to you. Respect, not the bullshit, not the lies. Every man wants one thing from a woman. Don't no man meet a woman and say, I want to be your best friend and I'm going to treat you good. A man is say anything to get, what he wants. Is that one thing that men want. And then, after you give it to them, then they show you who they really are. Basically, he was telling me, get to know people, Don't just get to know them, learn people, see how the person function, how, their character, see what kind of character, they possess. A lot of stuff that he told me that I had no clue, no one has ever told me. This man, we used to sit at night and just talk for hours. That was one person that I can be around, and we just sit and talk and never got bored. I never got bored. And then, we have the radio on, and we was chilling, man. Then it got to the point, just like I said, my mother had a Pens petition out on me. That girl, Greta, I happened to see her one day. That same building that Mika lived in, she had a cousin, David. They lived in that same building. So she went and told my mother, because, I was considered a runaway. My mother used to tell people, if you see Nita, let me know or call the cops. If you see Nita, let me know or call the cops. So the girl, Greta, she was going to her cousin's house in that building, and she happened to see me. So she went back and told my mother. So, they came around. I guess they asked what apartment such and such lives at or whatever, something like that. So one day the cops knocked on the fucking door, and I was in there. Yep, I was in the apartment. So his cousin was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Who, Anita? I don't know, no, Anita. No, you can't come in and look. Or can we come in and look? No, you can't come in here and look. Well, what I look like having some old 13-year-old kid in here, this, that, and this. So JB was, behind the door, signaling Mika, nah, don't say nothing. No, can we come in? This is what he was doing to her. Eventually they left. Eventually, the police left. I'm like, oh shit. But that's not the only place she went to. She also went to this fucking spot. My mother, her and the police went to the spot where T-Ski and them used to sell drugs at. This is a drug spot. And my mother showed up to that spot with police. Told them, well, she's 13 years old. She don't need to be out here. Yes, she did. So she was telling everybody, I'm 13 years old. My mother wasn't lying. I was 13. She wasn't lying. So after that, JB was like, why is she saying you 13? I'm like, she is lying. She like, what? She lying. She's lying so people can, feel like, they don't want a kid around them. She's just lying. She's doing that so nobody don't want me around. One day, probably was, I don't know, a few days later, I told JB, I am 13. And I was telling him all the issues, what was going on, and, my so-called father, how he used to treat me. Telling him, me and my mother, we're not seeing eye to eye because I'm telling her things and she's not understanding what I'm saying to her. I was telling him that my mother seems like she's more loyal to her boyfriend than me, her child. She witnesses these things and doesn't do anything to stop them. I also told him about, he said if he could see, I'll be dead or something like that. And his only goal in life when he get drunk is just to try to physically hurt me. And he can't. He can't physically hurt me. You can't. If you drunk and you can see, it's hard for you to stay up on your 2 feet and fight. So could you imagine a blind person that's sloppy drunk trying to stand up and fight? It's not gonna happen. If you push them, if you take one finger and push them, they're gonna fall and can't get up. They blind. They're off. They're off. Even more off balance, being drunk and blind. Anyway, so I came out and I told him the truth and I told him everything that was going on. He was like, damn, yo, you gotta get back in school. You gotta get back in school. I'm like, all right. He was like, yo, you ain't got nothing to worry about. I got your back. I got your back. After that, my mother, she thought that she was punishing me by not buying me school clothes. JB bought my school clothes. Not only did he buy my school clothes, he bought me jewelry, earrings, gold earrings with my name on it, leather pants, leather jackets. We buying my shoes. He really, really stepped his game up and looked out. Not only that, they had the transit test that was coming out. They had a transit test. You have to pay for it. And, you take the test for the transit conductor, token booth clerk, conductor, or bus driver, something like that. And they was doing the test at Brooklyn Tech High School, the school right across the street from my grandmother. So he paid for a test for him. He paid for a test for me and his sister Teresa. She paid for it, to take the test. We all three went to take the test, but I said, JB, how am I gonna take this test? And I'm only, might have been 14, and I'm underage. I think I was 14. He said, don't worry about it. By the time they call you, you're gonna be grown. It takes years for them to call you. I'm like, you sure? Because I don't want you to waste your money. He said, yeah, I'm sure. It's going to be years. By the time they call you, trust me, you're going to be old enough, to take the, to get the job. You're going to be old enough. I'm like, all right. He gave me a lot of game, though. I can't front. So, after I, laid everything out to him, told him my real age, he was a little conflicted. He was like, damn, shit, I'm 20 years old. Legally, I can go to jail. I said, well, it's, whatever you want to do, it's on you. And he said, how can I back up from it? And I already got feelings, man. I got feelings. How can I just back away? I got these feelings. One thing in life that he wanted was to be with a woman that didn't have any kids yet. He said all the females that he's, that's in his age category, all the females that he talked to, they all got kids. He wanted to have that experience of him having a child, his first child, and the woman's first child. So there was a little benefit in it for him. I was 13 and green as shit. Just like I said, he gave me a lot of game. He kind of molded me. He molded me, but not to be what he wanted me to be. He molded me to be better. He used to tell me, you smart, man. You can do this, you can do that. You are smart. I used to be like, no, I'm not. When it came to writing and stuff like that, I'm like, I don't want to write. My handwriting is sloppy. He was like, yeah, so what? A bunch of people got sloppy handwriting, so what? I was so down on me. Everything I doubted, because it was what was fed to me my whole life growing up. I was never led to believe I was pretty. I was always not pretty enough, and this is not coming from niggas in the street. I was always not pretty enough. I was always, my hair wasn't long enough. I wasn't tall enough as far as my height. I was just led to believe that I was less than. And when it came to him, he always told me, I am so much more than. He gave me the confidence that I needed. He fed my soul. He uplifted me. I mean, God knew what he was doing. Me and JB didn't meet by mistake. That was the only thing that could have stopped me from going off with that pimp. It couldn't have been my mother, not my biological father, not my grandmother. That was the only thing that was able to stop. That was other than being locked up or dead. He was the only thing that could have stopped me from being with that pimp. Well, it's just starting to get more juicier. But I'm getting ready to wrap it up. And thank you for listening. There's so much more. And I will see you on the next video. Please make sure you like and subscribe. I'm trying to get myself out there in the YouTube streets because I'm no longer in the real streets. Have a blessed Saturday. Enjoy your day. See you soon. One.